Okay, I think we're recording. What's up, guys? My name's Jenna. I'm the founder of Fill Your Books. This is one of my killer students, Kayla. She has been inside the community sharing some amazing results, and I had to get her on here so she could tell you guys all about it. But Kayla, why don't we start off with who are you? Where are you from? How'd you get started with hair?
Oh gosh, so my name's
That's a
Kayla.
lot.
It is a lot. So I've been in Colorado pretty much my whole life. I haven't lived anywhere else. Started doing hair, oh my gosh, when I was a kid. So,
Basically, yep.
my dad let me have my first box color, which is so bad, but hey, we all start somewhere. And
Exactly.
he said, you could do whatever you want, it just has to be natural. So I was like, all right, Dad, bet. So I got like red color and then did that for a few years, changing my color all the time. And then, of course, I was like, ooh, I want to get into this crazy stuff. So then I started making my dad color my hair, crazy colors. And then finally he was like, okay, you're going to have to figure out how to do this by yourself. So I'm like, okay. So I started like just YouTube. I was like 13 years old and
That's so awesome.
YouTube. And my stylist at the time was super cool, and she would get me products from Salon Centric so I could do my own hair. So that was cool. So of course I started off as like the Pravana queen.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I was known for, was the color of my hair all the time.
That's all.
And
You're basically your own walking billboard at that point.
yeah, pretty much. And then after that I was like, wow, okay, like this might go somewhere. And everybody started asking me to do their hair for them, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I could actually like make a career out of this. And so I graduated high school early, started hair school at 17, and been doing hair for like almost 8 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
So everybody looks at me and they're like, you're 12. I'm like, but I still know what I'm doing.
Yes, so exactly. Like, I've been doing this since I was born. Relax.
Seriously, yeah. They're like, you must have been like 16, 17. And I'm like, yeah, like, you're right. Because I'm only 24 and I'm already like way beyond what I should be, which is really, really cool. But
that's awesome.
I mean, I've worked really hard to get where I'm at. All I do is learn from other people, and continuing education is like my favorite thing in the world. So
I think that's the beautiful thing about our industry, is that we're all so passionate about continued education and we love it and it's so much fun. And I think it just makes us different from a lot of other, just like because there's other industries that have to do continued education, right? Like in the medical field, all that kind of stuff. But I think I like to think, my humble opinion is that we are the most passionate about what we do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I never thought, just from practicing and having fun in my own hair, that I would fall in love with an industry so much. Like it just keeps growing. Like I'm never like, I don't know, maybe this isn't for me. And we always have those thoughts, if something goes wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't do anything else. Like, and I have tried to stray away from hair before, and it didn't work. It's just not what I'm supposed to do, apparently. So it keeps pulling me in.
That's funny. So that kind of leads me to, what did your kind of career and behind the chair life look like before you found Fill Your Books in the inner circle?
Oh man, a lot of frustration, I think. It's a fine line between love and hate sometimes, I want to say, with what we do. And because I always was like a more introverted person, like super good with people, just not one to try to strike up a conversation randomly or, get out of my shell. And, when I work, that's when I do it.
Right.
So I've kind of had to teach myself how to get out of my little shell and then go back into it when I come home. You know what I mean? So that's been difficult, because before I found Fill Your Books, it was like, okay, well, how am I going to get clients? Because I started in the industry with a chain salon, because I wanted to get the most experience I could get, like the quickest. And I was like, okay, how am I going to do that? So I did a chain, and it was good, to get all that experience that I needed, because back then in hair school, they didn't teach you how to do a men's cut with clippers. They just did it. Now
I didn't either, so.
But they didn't teach you how to do anything. And so when I went to a chain salon and being in Colorado and where I'm located, it's all military. So of course, everything I was doing was fades. And then we got into the crazy colors, which, you know, I had more experience with.
Right.
So that was easier for me, but I was kind of thrown to the wolves in the beginning. So that was really scary.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just as I started to progress, I did that for about 5 years and really wanted to go out on my own, but was like way too scared because I was like, I kept saying to myself, you know, it's not possible. I don't have enough clients. They're not going to follow me. I'm going to lose a lot of people. It's so competitive here. How do I even try to have my own business, like,
Right.
and still be able to pay my bills? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Totally.
So I tried at a different salon and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to because I was still doing like old fashioned, like, you know, walking around town and passing my card out to people and asking for referrals and that sort of thing. But every time you pass out a card to some random stranger, that they think you're kind of crazy and nuts. And then that card ends up on the floor or in the trash can, and then it's just a waste of time. And then you just make people feel weird. And then
it's like, I know me, when I'm in the food store and I'm in my pajamas, I'm like, please nobody, good Lord, walk up to me, please.
Yep, exactly. And then of course for somebody to be like, hey, I do hair, here's my card. And then they're like, oh my God, she's trying to say something about her hair? Like, that was rude, you know? So it's just like, oh, I hate it. But then like when I found Filler Books and just going through all the training, which I'm going to do again here soon. But I know, that's what I love about it too, is I can keep going back through it and still learn something new.
100%. And I'll tell you this, some of our best students, the ones that have been with us the longest, like I can think of off the top of my head, like Victoria, Rob, and Beth, they have gone through it. Victoria told us, I think that she's gone through it like 8 times or something. And now she's building a house. It's fully paid off. They're doing all these crazy things. And she started struggling to get people in the door at all. So there is something to be said for repetition and perfecting just a few systems. Because I mean, you can attest to this. What we're passionate about is not overwhelming people and no fluff. And like, we teach you a few simple things that really, really work. And then when you perfect those things, it's going to work so much better than like jack of all trades, master of none kind of idea.
Yeah. And that's how I looked at it in the beginning. I was like, okay, I'm going to get through this whole thing and then I'm going to do everything all at once. And that's where I was like, okay, I need to focus on 1 or 2 things at a time and then work my way up to doing everything all at once. So it doesn't feel like I'm doing too much, because I did kind of burn myself out just a little bit in the beginning, where I was just constantly doing the organic marketing, constantly posting in groups, messaging people every day, and talking to all of my leads. So it all became like I was working 24/7. So I had to be like, okay, what am I going to focus on today? And then tomorrow I'm going to focus on something else. So that helped me a lot.
That makes me so happy that that's something that you even took from it, because like we always say, like, do 3 to 5 things every day. Shouldn't take longer than, 20-30 minutes, and then go do hair, because at the end of the day, you're a hairstylist, you're not a marketing expert. And that's kind of where we came in and where Corey comes in. It's like, you can know how to do these simple things, but you shouldn't have to stress about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It should just be a few minutes in the morning and at night, however you want to do it. And then you can continue on with your career as you want to. So tell me what, give us some numbers here. How many, not like how many clients have you gotten, but like, what has the increase been for you?
Oh my gosh. I don't even think I could give you a number. Honestly, I would go into a week where I had nothing on my books, which is terrifying, because you're like, wow, I'm not going to make any money this week. And then a few days of an ad or a few days of posting in groups or whatever, it would be full. And then I'd be booking into the next week. So, I mean, I'm getting, I don't know, I'd want to say 20 new clients a month, probably at least.
That's awesome.
I'm almost getting 1 new client every single day, almost.
What a dream, truly, because it's like, I think we all know that feeling of going into the week not having any clients. We're just like, all right, am I paying rent this month? Am I, gonna buy food for myself next week?
Yeah.
I can make it a couple more hours without lunch, I think. But
Yeah.
then to go and be able to have like one new client a day, this stuff, we've been doing it for 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and it still gives me goosebumps to hear these stories, because it's just like that can change. It'll change the trajectory of your whole career. One new client a day. That's all you need.
Oh yeah. And I think the huge thing too is not only have I learned to get them in the chair, but I've also learned, healthier ways to grow my business, because, in this industry, all you're taught is you have to take everyone and everything that talks to you.
Yeah.
You have to do this in order to grow your business. If you have an empty spot and somebody contacts you, and even if you don't want to do it or you don't think they're a fit, you have to take them.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I've been struggling with at the place that I am now, which is why I started looking into suites, because that can make or break me as a hairdresser, I know, because if I'm unhappy doing people's hair, or, me and the client don't fit, that's going to end up making me not want to do hair. I still want to love what I do every day, and I want to love the people that I do it for. So that was big for me too. And I learned that in the training, that you don't have to, downplay your values and how you want to do it. For example, credit cards on file, and because that's a huge thing right now. It's just like, it's either you definitely do want to do it, or it's people that are afraid to do it because they don't want to lose the business. But for me, I think this training has really taught me that in order to build a successful business, I have to be picky, and I have to be not really like strict, but I have to put my foot down when it comes to the clients that I want. Because in the future, that's what's going to make me happy. So
exactly, and it's your business, and that's what's going to keep you. It's what's going to give us longevity in our career. Not a lot of stylists make it past the 5-year mark, the 10-year mark, because it's exhausting, not only on your body, but mentally, physically, all the things. But if you're happy and you get to have that energy exchange with someone that you really, really enjoy, and they enjoy being around you, it completely makes for a different experience for both you and your client, and they'll be happier, you'll be happier, and you'll make better hair and you'll make better art.
Oh yeah, and that's been the cool part too, is the fact that now I am being picky with who I get in my chair, and now that I'm getting referrals from those same people, it's like I'm getting all of the same types of people.
Where the magic happens.
Awesome. Like I don't have to change, how I am with, my first hour of the day, and then my last half of the day is somebody else. And I have to completely change how I act. Like I don't have to worry about that as much anymore, which is so freeing to me. Like I feel like I'm in control now, which is amazing. Never thought it would happen to me ever.
That's so awesome. That makes me really happy. So last question, would you recommend Fill Your Books to another stylist friend? What would you tell them?
Oh my gosh, if I could refer everyone, I totally would. Like, even if they're halfway across the world, I would totally want to sit down with them and tell them what has changed for me, because at the end of the day, people are just, they're going to have their opinions about, oh my gosh, you paid for this, blah, blah, blah. You could have just done that yourself. Well, no, because if I could have, I would have been already. You know what I'm saying? Like we think we know how to talk to people, but I mean, your guys' things that you have in the notes to save, the templates, that is huge for me. And that's really where it came down for me, the big change. And that's how I would really tell people is look, you might be right there on the fine line of doing things perfectly right, but as soon as I watched this training, it was just completely different. I was already right there, but this just bumped it up, and it's easier. I didn't have to learn the hard way. I mean, I did. I spent the last 8 years trying to figure it out, but so if I could, even somebody new in this industry, I would tell them to hop on it right away, because they could be, I mean, it took me 8 years to figure it out. So if I just had this coming out of school,
imagine.
I can't even imagine where I would be right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you're watching this right now, we hope to see you inside of the inner circle, me, Kayla, and all 1,000 of the other students are in there cheering you on. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us or check us out at fillyourbooks.com. But yeah, we'll see you guys later.